Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am really excited to bring to you this review. We are taking a look at from Wave 3 of Transformers Legacy United. This is Voyager class, Cybertron Universe, Vector Prime. Now, of course, you might be wondering that we're why I have from Legacy Wave 2 Jhiaxus. This is like a 3-year-old figure almost at this point. And that's because Vector Prime is a retool of Jhiaxus, which I think most people kind of knew. I mean, even now, just looking at him, you can see some of the parts. And we're going to take a better look at that in robot mode, but I just wanted to show you guys that we would do the comparison. I have to say, I'm very excited for this figure. I don't know if I've really ever mentioned it here on the channel, but Cybertron out of the Unicron trilogy is my favorite show. Now, full disclosure, I think that was the only one I got to see all the episodes of, but it just resonated with me. And over time, as my learning grew about modern Transformers and my interests went into other um, um, Japanese mecha anime, to learn about how this was a big, Cybertron was a big, sloppy tongue kiss of homage to the Brave series, which had just finished at the time, really makes me enjoy it that much more. Now, I do have some complaints about this mold. Obviously, right off the bat, I really feel that Vector Prime should have had been its own mold. I think the character deserves that, but they did a fantastic job here. Um, Look, minor nitpicks. Number one, I have has to do with the sword storage. I really would have preferred the old style storage where it could store in the nose cone, but due to the transformation, that wasn't possible. I think I also would have liked to have seen the missile launching feature. Just, I'm a sucker for things like that. But I do appreciate they included the uh, the key and the and also the key, the wings, the sword, all done in this very nice glittery plastic, which I think is a little more durable than the original Jhiaxus mold. Now this is removable. You can just yeah, actually. I mean, would have wished another like a central storage point, but there, just pop the key out. It doesn't slot in; it just tabs in. And also, there is apparently a port here that you can um, insert safeguard. Although I have to say, it kind of looks like there's like a little like tab or something right there that would be blocking the slot. But yeah, just a fantastic mold. The detailing, the greebling. I mean, this does look like Cybertron Vector Prime, just with a little bit more of a generations style flair to it. And do note of all the little clock and gear motifs that they did work in. And here's a little spoiler for robot mode. These are basically Jhiaxus's legs, but this technical detailing, which really isn't being picked out by the paint, works for Vector Prime as well. So let's go ahead and just get into the transformation. I think I've rambled on a bit. What you want to do is come onto the side here and flip these wings up and rotate the panel so it's inward. I hope I'm doing that right. This way. Well, we'll figure it out in the robot mode. This is going to form the cape, and we're going to talk about that a little bit when we get there. Next, what you want to do is come underneath here, and this is how the arms peg in. And one thing I want to mention, and I can't remember if it was like this on Jhiaxus, but when you're going into vehicle mode, there is actually a click point for this double hinge to sit. You want that hinge right where my finger is to be at 90 degrees. So bring that up, rotate it all around, and bring it up into place there. And do it again on that side. Next, what you want to do is just and the arms will just sit there. That's just to get them out of the way. Wiggle jiggle to free up the leg panels here. Split the legs. They tab in at the sides there and at the tail fin, and of course they peg into that port right there. Um, Free up the foot so you can bring this whole section down, and it'll peg into place. Rotate the foot down. And this is something, again, this I pretty sure didn't, maybe it was just my copy, but when you rotate the tail fin around, it actually clicks into place closed and clicks into place, well, soft clicks open. I really appreciate that. That to me is kind of cool. And let me just say, if you remember Jhiaxus, which we'll see in a second, had that soft plastic, that soapy white plastic. This is all, I guess you can say, like normal plastic, um, but it feels a lot better and a lot more durable, if that makes sense. Come to the bottom here, swing the arms out, and we're gonna come up. And as you flip up this panel, rotate the winglets. Now the cape piece is back, and that's going to tab in right into the back there. And well, actually, before you do that, you need to flip down this panel, open up this panel, flip up the head. Oh, that's actually what was poking through. Was Here? Let me show you. It's the panel here, the tab for Vector Prime's head. Just rotate that up all the way. Close that panel. Again, just bring those winglets down. As you bring this down, rotate it to reveal Vector Prime's classic looking chest, and then close up the panel. There's a small tab on the head panel that's going to peg into the back. Now, before we, rotate the waist around. Before we get going, the instructions show to have the wings folding down along the back. And this is how most photos have shown it. Well, again, I can't tell. I think these these pieces here are the same from Jhiaxus. This is all new. So there's a little nubbin right there that kind of and I accidentally hit that and it pop up. That will sort of lock, like not lock, but this will fold upward, and there's like a soft detent on these. To me, and again, this is my opinion, this kind of looks a little bit better to have the cape up a little more like this. Your mileage may vary. Obviously, you can pose it around any way you like, but it's just you're to grab the figure from the waist. You don't have to worry about hitting the edges there. Something tells me that might be the intentional position. Um, I mean, obviously, we'll see in a second, but with Jhiaxus, that'll fold it up, flush. So I don't know. But again, like I said, your toy, your mileage may vary. Finally, to finish the transformation here, and this is something that you might miss. There's a little tab and a slot in the shoulder pad. The shoulder pad locks into place when you open it. That is actually something really cool that I would wish they would do more often on Transformers. And to finish the transformation, um, flip out the hands, uh, and there we go. And before we get into all the gimmicks in robot mode, let me get the weapons out of the way. Let me quickly bring in Jhiaxus. And so basically, the chest is new, the waist is new, the legs are the same. The legs are all shared, including having the little clips there for the bat wings. Um, the forearms are the same, including the hands, but the biceps are the same. The shoulders are new, obviously. The head is new, obviously. This is all clear plastic. This, here, let me open them up real quick. Is that glittery plastic that I mentioned that the wings are made out of? I'm not gonna say it's clear, but and I'm not afraid about breakage or anything. So obviously the heads are new, but they do waggle the same, if that makes sense. And then coming around to the back, we were talking about this whole section, and interestingly enough, this panel here, this is new, different from that, but the arms, these arms right here are the same, but obviously the wings and stuff are different. So they did put a lot of effort into making this different. Again, like I said, do I wish this was a new mold? Yeah. But I understand that sometimes that couldn't happen. And to be honest, I think part of it is also that the Jhiaxus is such an older mold. Um, I did not want uh, the that just the whole having to use that like a 3-year old mold, having to dig up the figure for the review. I mean, that's just really my problem. Okay, so first off, the key can peg in, doesn't slot in right here in the front, just like on the original toy. Was I wrong? Because I remember Vector Prime's key was actually different because it had a solid back. I wanted to say that it actually had circuitry in it that would complete that, like electronics in it that would complete the circuitry to activate the lights and sound, the light up gimmick. Or am I just crazy? So that's one way. The second way, there is a slot here on the back, and the key can slot in there, which I would recommend doing first, because then what you can do is come in and store the sword on the back. Now, obviously, if you had these down, oh, you know what? Let me remove the sword because the instructions show it with like these down, and if you do have these down, you have to make sure that the sword goes over that red section right there and kind of like locks the wings into place. But again, it just to me kind of feels like they're meant to go up there. So pull that out. Now, probably my preferred way. And also I want to mention real quick, the handle on the sword uh, is hinges. That's not for vehicle mode, not for anything else. No idea why it's like that. Oh, and it's hard plastic, unlike the original toy. There is a port here, so you just come in, you can peg the sword together, the key into the sword, and this is actually how I think I'll display it, and then you can slide it into the hand. The instructions show that the hand can open, I'm sorry, opening the hand to put the sword in, you can just slide it in. I mean, it is nice that they did keep the opening hand gimmick, but there you have Vector Prime. And since I did mention it, let's, unfortunately, the sword isn't that long, but the handle isn't even that long. But here's my best approximation of the mecha anime robot uh, uh, compensating for something pose. Uh, yeah, obviously you need a much, if you know what I'm talking about, you need a longer sword. It's like, yeah. But actually, I don't think Vector Prime ever did this pose in the show. I know Cybertron Optimus Prime did, but yeah. This is a really fun figure, and we're just going to go into my final thoughts now. I'm happy to have this figure. I really enjoy it. There is more new here than I thought. And let me just say, I really, really appreciate the, the, the pegging in of the shoulder pads. That, to me, that's something that should be standard on Transformers that have shoulder pads. Because messing with the figure, you don't have to worry about knocking them around. They move with the arm. It just works so much better, in my opinion. I'm really happy that that's there. The head is nice. This is like I mean, I don't think we took that close of a look at the head, but so real quick, I mean, yeah, that's Vector Prime. Would I have preferred, again, I'll say it again, would I have preferred a new mold? Yeah. But if the leaks for next year are true, and it's going to be about the 13 primes, we are getting another Vector Prime figure that probably will be a new mold. So, yeah, I can understand why they didn't want to do two molds of the same figure. Um, I got this figure from Command Store. They are slowly getting some of the Wave 3 figures in. It really is a trickle, unfortunately, but that's the way things are now in this day and age. You can get the stores, retailers can get individual cases of one figure than of whole waves. And I think that's what they did. But it is coming sooner than Amazon. I think Hasbro Toy Shop, Hasbro Pulse, their expected delivery date is June 26th. So you can get them a little bit earlier. But then again, I ordered this last week and I only got it on Friday. So maybe it was just from the timing and what have you. So if you order from Command Store now, you actually might get it in the same amount of time as waiting for Hasbro Pulse. But definitely, I think Vector Prime is a solid purchase. Obviously, if you're a fan of Cybertron, you have to get it, especially with Hotshot being in the wave. But that's about it for the review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. While I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions help to communicate to YouTube through the algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like this to you and keeping up the infrastructure of my channel. Getting the light boxes and stuff like that, newsstands, you know, the Patreon helps take the edge off. And hey, if you need an incentive to join my Patreon, it's my birthday this week on Thursday, June 20th. So happy birthday to me, maybe? Yeah. I'm kidding. As I always say, and I mean this, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous Sunday. So once again, this is your old pal Chuck for Cybertron Universe Vector Prime. We will see you next time.